Okay.
All right.
All right. Finally.
Yes. We're back again.
Is that how we're doing it? Is that the way we're going to go?
I guess that's the way we're at. That's the way it goes sometimes. Oh my God. Watch out. Oh my God. He's doing that thing again. Could have used more cowbell. Yeah. Play that song. Play that song. Play that song. Oh, yeah. Oh, play that song. Play that song. Play that song. Good. And the lights on.
Lights on. I think he's gonna show you, JR.
Was that the voice of Michael Cohen?
JR? You mean JR Ewing?
Oh, that JR.
I thought I saw...
Interesting you bring that up. Because in Nixon, he actually plays a steer queer from Texas.
Who?
Larry Hagman, who played JR in Dallas. So he kind of plays a similar role.
Didn't he pass away?
Because they helped... Yeah, but Nixon came out, mind you, in 1995.
Wait, I didn't know Nixon was gay. He came out?
He didn't release the tapes.
Oh, they always said he was anal retentive.
That's why they call him Tricky Dicky. What's up, Tricky Dick? Ha ha! Yeah.
Now I have to talk into this.
Yeah, we don't have to. We could just talk around it.
Like how you're doing?
Talking around it. Hey, man, you told me.
I told you.
You told me the length.
I told you.
And the width.
You're taking me literally.
And the height. How many more fucking measurements we got on this plane anyway?
The next one is going to be front to back.
Like a rusty trombone.
There was one?
Yeah, there was one. Behind every rusty trombone, there's a dirty sand chest.
Oh, so Bob is being let off the leash this week.
Bob? Who's Bob? Oh, I'm Bob. What's Bob, man? It ain't nothing.
3 seconds, Bob.
No, I'm not off the leash.
What is your name?
I think it's Bob. Yeah, my name's Bob.
Want to buy some acid, Bob?
No, not right now. But I'll tell you what, it don't mean nothing.
Oh, shit. I forgot to bring down the rest of the whiskey.
You don't need that shit.
Of course I do.
Drink some beer.
No.
Some Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada.
No.
No, he says. It's
No.
Not in that special way.
He said...
No.
Became fucking El DeBarge all of a sudden.
Yeah, the DeBarge. Kind of like Chris Farley's El Nino, Spanish for the Nino. God damn his soul.
Every fucking thing that dude did was just so ridiculous.
It was over the top. Well, you know John Belushi was his hero. So.
Yeah, well.
And he certainly lived up to that.
Tried to live
legend.
up to that.
Well, that's what killed him.
Yeah, it's a...
He pulled a Belushi. He actually died of a speedball, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I thought it was a heart attack.
Well, caused by a speedball.
Didn't know it was a speedball.
He was on a hell of a binge, whatever it was.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was benderific.
A lot of them. Philip Seymour Hoffman, that guy was a horrible heroin addict. Never would have thought that, playing Brandt and good old Lebowski, you know. But
well, I mean, He was a pro. You know, when you're working.
He was a pro, all right.
When you're working, you don't do that shit.
He was a pro concealing that shit.
Unless it was in the script. He's like, I can be fucked up on the set today.
And I'm gonna be.
And I'm gonna be.
Of course, I don't know how many method actors... Like, for example, there was that talk around the time that Belushi was hanging out at the Chateau, because that's where he bid it. Chateau is famous for what many people interpret the Eagles Hotel California. That's what it was about, was the Chateau Marmont. A lot of famous Hollywood and rock stars stayed there.
Died there?
Well, not as many as what you think. But yeah, I mean, Belushi is famous for being one of the ones that died there. But
that place was kind of a dump, was it not?
You know, I don't know about in the early days. I think in the early days it was rather nice. I think it got more decadent as time went on. You know, with as far as drug use and that kind of stuff and all that. But it was actually Robert De Niro and Robin Williams were kind of hanging out with Belushi one night briefly at his bungalow that he had. And
like all the words that you're saying are triggering things in my brain. Because, like, Chateau always made me think of shit toe.
Yeah.
Sergeant Hulk is going to see how far he can stick it up your ass.
Yeah, the shit toe. Yeah, the big toe, yeah.
And then you said bungalow, which of course is just bunghole. Oh.
I was thinking of the continuing saga of Bungalow Bill by the Beatles, but hey.
Oh, that's I love the little guitar riff at the beginning of that.
Little Spanish interlude there. Which I don't know if that was George or Paul or John fiddling about. Never really have figured that one out.
A boot. Oh, no, wait. They were English, not Canadian.
It's a good clue. Good clue.
Who was it?
Don't know yet.
How do you not know? You know everything.
Nah, I don't know everything.
He's the knower of things.
Nah, I'm not the knower.
Drinker of beers.
Not the knower.
Sonic Bob tonight.
I only have a few bits of knowledge.
That doesn't sound right.
What doesn't sound right?
You only have a few bits?
2 bits a shot.
Shave it a haircut?
Life's a carnival.
Oh, no, not in this show. This show, life is a highway.
Ugh. Tom Cochran?
Yes, Tom Cochran.
We went from the band to Tom Cochran.
I listened to some of the, what the hell? Went out to have the car fixed yesterday, and still not fixed. And while I was out there, like the kid that was working on it, my buddy Walter, was like, hey,
yeah, Walter,
what do you want to listen to? And I was like, I don't know, I don't care. And he was like, he turned on like some speed metal shit, and I'm fine with that because that's what, you know, that's what Brian listens to. So I don't have a problem with that shit. And he's like, well, unless you want to listen to this. I was like, I'll listen to anything, man, I don't care. And then he's like, no, you want to listen to something? I was like, well, I was thinking about the last thing I heard on the way out. Last thing I heard on the way out was Little Feat. So he plugged Little Feat into Pandora. And when you do that, the very next song that comes up, almost without doubt.
Dixie Chicken.
Yeah, well, Dixie Chicken is the first one that comes up. Unless you put in the title of a different song. But then the band always comes up second. Yeah. Always.
I mean, they're very, very relative, very similar. I mean, especially if you listen to that first Little Feat album, which I know you've listened to on occasion. Very much so. And actually Lowell got offended because you can hear elements of the Stones and the band on that first album, and Lowell was not happy with that. And he had a huge falling out with the producers, which was Russ Tittleman and Larry Warnaker.
Tittleman.
Or Titleman, Tittleman, something like that. Titian.
Oh, man, it's just like all these double entendres are sort of... I'm so fucking looped, man, because I've been doing so much shit those last few days. I mean, I've just been like...
Been a whirlwind of activity.
Yeah, like Friday was my birthday. Went and played golf with my dad.
Yep.
Got home.
Celebrated in style.
Celebrating style. Well, maybe it was a couple different styles, and I made myself some cheeseburgers and French fries.
Rock on.
Onion steam style.
Cornerstone of any nutritious dinner.
This is my birthday, man. I didn't give a fuck.
I know.
And then, you know, the whole time I got that shit rocking, you know, I'm pouring me some whiskeys while I'm doing that. And then, of course, you do what you always do after 40 and you have a couple of cocktails, you pass out somewhere and then for a couple hours and then you wake up and you're like, shit, man, I had things I wanted to do this evening. And then, I had to be up then early Saturday to take the fucking car out to Walt, took it out to him. He forgot to do the peen on the fucking, or whatever you call that thing on the wheel after he put the nut on. So I had to drive all the way back out there. To have him fix it, whatever.
Ooh.
I'd rather take an hour and drive out there and back again than have the wheel come off.
Our friend Chris, he sent me a picture. He finally got his air compressor.
Yes. Chris sent me. He sent me the picture today too.
You or not? Okay.
We're gonna get together next Sunday, and I'm gonna take him for a ride and see if he can figure out what the fuck is going on.
Well, I told him. I said it could be the axle. Not sure.
Well, I replaced the CV joint on that side, on the right side. Now, when we took the wheel off, well, the part wasn't bad. Well, the joint that I replaced was not bad. So
a joint, man.
It's a CV joint. What do they call it? Continuous velocity, continuous. I don't know. It's basically the axle. It's the part that turns the wheel, comes from the motor. So I thought maybe that was what was making all the fucking noise. It wasn't. So I may have gotten a bad wheel bearing for that side, because whenever he went to take the wheel off, like the whole back of the wheel, like they packed that thing full of grease. And there was grease everywhere back there. It was fucking nasty. So, Walt did the best he could to clean it up, put it back in there. And got back in the car, and it's still making the same fucking noise. So I don't have a fucking clue what's going on. I'm having that party in 2 weeks. Hopefully my buddy Kevin comes up from Richmond. He is an ASE certified mechanic.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, before we get to drinking or doing anything, get in the car with me. Let's go for a ride. Listen to this, because I don't know what the fuck it is. I've changed out the bearing. I've changed out the CV axle. I don't know what the fuck is next. The only thing I can think of is maybe there's something in the differential is fucked, which is going to be an insane amount of money. And I think I'd rather trade the car in on something else than fucking deal with that. So
that sucks.
Yeah. So my saga with the car continues. Your saga with the car continues. What's going on with that?
Yeah, the Cadillac. Well, once again, seemingly we have everything set up. We have it done through a local auctioneer, former car salesman in the area. And he's had a little bit of health problems as of late, since I got in touch with him around February is when we first started talking. And he's had a bit of a health scare, so there's been some issues going on here and there. Finally got around to agreeing to let my mother let it be exposed from outside of the home and not in a garage, and letting it set outside so we can get this thing for not only local interest, but also it's going to be posted online through the internet. It's going to be up for 4 weeks.
What the fuck is the internet?
We need to get the paperwork done. It's a new ways of communication.
Did you ever see, what was it? Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
Mm-hmm. Been a while.
It's like, what the fuck is the internet? The internet is a communications tool where people can come together and bitch about movies and share pornography with one another.
Well, there's some of that.
That's mostly all it is. They say the sharing of pornography is probably 2/3 of what happens on the internet. Well, on the top level of the internet. I'm not talking about deep web or the dark web. I'm talking about
the quote unquote dark web.
No, there's no quote unquote. That shit is for real. For real. For real. And if you do not know what you're doing, do not go in there and start fucking around. I have heard some fucking horror stories.
Don't enter into the deep, darkest forest.
Unless you know what the fuck you are doing.
You're going to get your head chopped off.
Well, I've heard of people who saw people get their heads chopped off live on the internet. I've heard that story. I've heard where a guy was sawed in half from his crotch to the top of his head. You know, with one of those big fucking saws like they have in the in the lumber yard or whatever.
Right in the lumber yard.
Right in the lumber yard.
Yeah. The dark web. Okay.
I've heard that there's a video out there of Hillary Clinton chopping off a chick's face and wearing it and laughing. I'm just telling you what I heard. I'm not saying any of this is true. I am just telling you what I heard.
Are these like websites that are passed through other people, hush hush, or what? I mean, how does this work?
Well,
or people pose as other websites that are supposed to be legitimate and they turn out not to be?
You need a special kind of browser to be able to safely navigate it in the first place. And even if you try to use that and don't know what the fuck you're doing, you can expose yourself to a lot of horse cockery. Because from what I understand, there aren't all the protections that we have on like the regular like internet. There aren't all the protections and stuff out there. You know, there's no licensed websites. It's, you know, you either know what you're doing or you go there and you get your fucking computer turned into a fucking, you know, paperweight. So it's just a matter of knowing what you're doing. But I mean, that's where, you know, the Silk Road was, where people were finding, you know, drugs and ordering drugs online. That got shut down. There's some kid in jail for that. Although there were FBI agents who were buying drugs from him and selling them. And then whenever they raided his place, they took his money. So, I mean, the kid did all this work for the FBI. Allegedly. Allegedly. You know, this is, I've heard the story in enough different places with enough of the same high points to kind of figure it's probably true. But, yeah, I mean, it's nothing to fuck around with, man. It's nothing to fuck around with, man. And speaking about not fucking around with things, I do not fuck around with you when it comes to listening to music. Yeah. Because, my God, you're a professional. You're a professional listener. You're what they call the audiophile. Wait a minute. Audiophile.
Well, there's different levels of that, though. I would say more of an audio aficionado, not so much a...
You're not really an audio... Like, audiophiles are all into the reproduction of the sound. You know, just the kind of speakers, the kind of wires, gold-plated connectors.
Preferring vinyl as opposed to CD.
Or whatever. Or whatever your dick is hard for.
I'm just a music lover.
You know, there's plenty of stuff. I don't look at a lot of it, but there's plenty of stuff online about, you know, people that piss and moan about, practically fucking everything. But I was watching a thing earlier this week about, actual factual audiophiles and why they all hate Bose so much.
They're overrated. Bose has been overrated for a long time.
Well, and they don't do things. The short of the bit that I saw was they don't do things like everyone else does. Yeah. So it's
it's coming.
No, dude, give us the big ones. Give us the big ones.
They're working, man. I just ate some potatoes. They're working, man. That starch going.
I brought some cheesy popcorn. Oof. That'll make me shit. Well, anything you eat will make you shit. It's just, some things come out easier than others.
That's true. Especially if you have crushed aspirins that are cut with, you know, coffee creamer, you'll definitely shit.
Wait, what?
Crushed aspirins? You've never heard that term?
Crushed aspirins?
Yeah, you never heard of that?
Talking about cocaine?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's I don't like cocaine. I just like the way it smells.
Used to get crushed aspirins way back in the day. I got a headache. All right. Take a couple of these crushed aspirins.
Little BC powder here. Yeah. So, enough about our private horse cockery. What have you been listening to this week?
I have been going off on a major tangent with one of my favorite bands from the 70s.
Oh, yeah, because you tried to fucking talk to me about this yesterday.
That's right. I did mention it. Much in the same fashion as I took to the Grateful Dead and some other bands, once you start listening to these albums, you get into the whole spectrum of what they're doing. So I get into this big travelogue, and Blue Oyster Cult is ultimately... A lot of people probably laugh about it or whatever, but, you know, they're the guys that, you know, the more cowbell and blah, blah, blah. that SNL made famous. But what I really like about the guys is not only the musical side is a little elementary, rudimentary, not quite as on the same level as the Grateful Dead per se, but they have their moments. But lyrically, they were so intellectual, so intelligent, and they drew sources from several different writers of different acclaim. For example, Patti Smith submitted quite a few lyrics. No, that was the chick that did the Warrior song. Totally different Patties there. Patti Smith was from Greenwich Village. She was a poet, became a rock star.
All right, so I met Patti Smith then.
Yes. She actually dated one of the guys in Blue Oyster Cult way back in the day, Alan Lanier, the keyboardist and rhythm guitarist. And they had a relationship going for quite a while in the early 70s up to the mid-70s.
Very nice.
And she's credited with contributing lyrics even throughout their career. Even after they broke up, she still contributed some lyrics occasionally. So there was a deep connection there. One of the earliest critic writers of Crawdaddy and The Village Voice from the West Coast, Richard Meltzer, sort of a cult, no pun intended, writer in his own right of certain novels.
I see what you did there.
And Richard, I really dig his style. I actually have one of his collections of essays and reviews and that sort of a thing. It's called A Horror Just Like the Rest. The writings of Richard Meltzer, and very talented individual. He was actually quite associated with the band in its earliest stages, even before they became Blue Oyster Cult.
Quite.
They were known as Soft White Underbelly, Oxua, and Stalk Forest Group. So they had a couple different names going before they finally decided on Blue Oyster Cult. And
where does that name come from? I mean, where do they get that? What's the story?
Blue Oyster Cult?
Yeah, what's the story behind the name?
I've always wondered behind this. The name, Blue Oyster Cult.
Okay, you cannot tell me that you spent a fucking half a month listening to these cunts and you don't know how they came up with the fucking name.
Well, technically, I've been listening to these guys ever since I was 12 years old.
Well, Jesus, titty fucking
Off
Christ.
and on.
I'm talking about like on the religious, like, you know,
within
we
the
have to talk
week or
about
two,
it. Yeah, like the thing that's been caught in your craw and you can't get it out.
The Blue Oyster Cult actually, I think, came off as more of a joke at the time. I think it might have been a pun from one of their other associates who was actually kind of their mentor and helped put the band together. His name is Sandy Pearlman. He later produced their first couple of records. He wrote, again, a lot of their lyrics. So he was responsible for the basis of their earliest material. I would say Blue Oyster Cult. I have to look it up. Sorry. That wasn't what I was fixated on. I was fixated on so many other things besides the origins of the name and that sort of stuff.
Well, I guess that's okay. But I need to know. So you need to find that out.
Well, maybe I can look it up here.
And if you don't if you don't have it for me this week, have it for me next week.
Wherein it is written, whatever it is they write it on in here. If anything happens bad to the oyster, and it turns blue, it becomes a cult.
What?
Exactly. Could have been they were tossing around different ideas.
Oh, I know what they were tossing.
Yeah, they were tossing, all right.
I wasn't tossing off. What fucking movie is that?
It might have been Weird Science. Perhaps.
I think you're right. I think it was Weird Science. I was not tossing off. Everybody staying around doing the arm thing. Wasn't tossing off.
Yeah, I wasn't tossing off, man.
Let's have a race. I'll use the World Wide Web. You use the paper.
Race.
We're gonna win this race. We're gonna Sonic Bob.
Yeah.
How you spell oyster?
OYSTR. ER.
Let's see. Perlman had also come up with the band's earlier name, Soft White Underbelly.
Yep.
from a phrase used by Winston Churchill in describing Italy during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Perlman's poetry, The Blue Oyster Cult, was a group of aliens who had assembled to secretly guide Earth's history.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there was vision. This man had vision. Kind of like Mo Green with Las Vegas. This is a man of vision and guts. And
He's banging cocktail waitresses two at a time.
There's not even a plaque or statue of him in Stony Brook. Because that's where they all kind of met, was in Stony Brook.
Oh, funny, because that's where the guys in the band went to school.
Right. It's a branch of NYU. So that's where these guys came from. And some of them lived on Long Island. And notice I pronounced that properly. It's the preferred nomenclature there, Long Island. And, two brothers, Al and Joe Bouchard, were the rhythm section of the group. Although Joe was not the original bassist in the band when they were Stock Forest group. Isn't that a pretty picture of some ugly mugs right there?
See, and this is what I missed. This is exactly what I missed. I missed the part where you could be ugly and make music and still make money.
This guys did it, man. They were not visually easy on the eyes, obviously.
Not visually appealing.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. This cat in the back here with the sunglasses, he was smart. Grew a beard and put on a pair of sunglasses to break up the monotony of his face.
That's Eric Bloom, the lead singer.
And you got these two cunts over here on the end who were rocking mustaches.
Oh, yeah. And you got those.
Somebody could have gone like Raleigh Fingers on one of them sons of bitches.
Easily.
But, yeah.
Probably Buck Dharma.
No, that's 70 porno stash there.
Oh, yeah. Well, these guys were 1971, 72. That was probably the circa of that photograph there. So
yeah, the 77. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, publicity photo of the Blue Oyster Cult issued by Columbia Records in 1977.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Very good. That lineup lasted from 71 to 81.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
And they fired Albert and got another drummer in who was their lighting guy that became their drummer. For little Spinal Tappers there, yes.
Jesus.
Yes. 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 And they experienced more than their share of Spinal Tap moments in that band, especially during the early 80s. So.
Yeah, and there's the logo that your refrigerator is now rocking.
The omelet. Also known as the omelet.
The omelet. I had one of those for breakfast today.
The omelet. UMLAT.
Oh, the mullet.
Something like that. It's an upside down question mark cross.
That was
basically what that
the
is.
80s.
It's an upside down question mark cross. That's
mullet was the 80s, right?
So, but yeah.
Okay, so here it is.
A lot of science fiction involved with these guys, which I'm kind of surprised that you haven't really tagged onto. Maybe the music's a little too, pedestrian for you. Maybe it's too dated.
It's not. It's not pedestrian. It is a little dated.
Yeah,
but it's not.
The lyrics are just amazing, like Black Blade, for example. And again, this reiterates the whole lyrical side. Black Blade, the lyrics were actually contributed by another sci-fi writer, Michael Moorcock, who, yes, that's his name. That's his name.
Jesus, let's turn into a gay joke.
Moorcock. Not Morecock.
It doesn't matter. It's how it's.
All right, Moorcock.
It's
Michael Moorcock.
It's the whole pronunciation
Moorcock,
thing.
Moorcock, Moorcock. Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, I'm looking for more cock.
Guys, I need cocks. I'm looking for cocks.
I'm looking for more cock. But yes, Michael was also synonymous with another space rock band called Hawkwind, and he contributed lyrics,
also known as Hawk Fart. Jeez, I don't know what it is, man. My brain has been connecting just the most disparate things all day.
That's okay, man.
But let me go through this because I really wanted to know this, and so let's see. I lost it. I'll just read it from the beginning here. This is from the wiki page.
Wiki,
under
wiki.
early years as soft white underbelly, Band originated as a group called Soft White Underbelly. Named the band would occasionally revive in the 70s and 80s to play small club gigs around the States and UK. In 67, they started under that name. In the vicinity of Stony Brook University on Long Island, New York, which was where the guys that I was in the band with, the two string players, the guitar player and the bass player, both went to Stony Brook.
Excellent.
At the prompting of critic and manager Sandy Perlman.
Yes.
Group consisted of guitarist, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to know that.
Right.
Or should, yeah, well, I mean, we're talking about him, so.
But Sandy's association with them was quite long and extensive. There was a bit of a breakaway towards the late 70s. They branched out and decided to use different producers and collaborate with other people and not have so much of his input. He wanted to do some other things. Among other things, he actually produced...
In the butt with Moorcock?
He actually... Yeah, right.
Sorry.
That's going all right.
I'm so fucking juvenile.
It's all good.
This is how... this is how I toured with the band. We were in junior high school on wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... I want to go through this because, like, if somebody's listening and they don't know, this is actually pretty good. So, group consisted of guitarist Buck Dharma, drummer Albert Bouchard, keyboardist Alan Lanier. Is it Lanier or Lanier? Lanier, Lanier.
I believe it's Lanier. Yeah.
Singer Les Bronstein, a nice Jewish boy, and bassist Andrew Winters.
Yes, those are the two original guys that later were replaced by Eric Bloom. Who actually replaced Les Bronstein. Eric Bloom actually was their sound guy in the beginning, and then he became the lead singer. That they actually got a hold of Eric because he had a van, and he was at that time kind of getting experience running sound and that sort of a thing. And he worked for a music company, I believe. So there was a connection there, I think. I think Al might have met him when he went into the shop one day to pick up some drumsticks or maybe some cymbals or something like that.
That was the place. Well, I remember that from when I first started. That was the place to hook up with people because, everyone had their cards up. Everyone's, looking for a drummer, looking for a guitar player, looking for this, looking for that, or the other thing. The little piece of paper with the numbers written across the bottom and a little cutoff. You just tear one off and take it home with you.
Yep.
You always lost it before the time you got there, and you're like, what the fuck was that number? You dial 8 or 10 numbers trying to find these cocksuckers. You just piss a bunch of people off all over town.
Not my number anymore, man. I'm trying to get a hold of Hank. I don't know goddamn Hank.
I was going to cheat. Wait. Who are the a few more temporary band names, including the Santos sisters?
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
The band settled on Blue Oyster Cult in 71.
Yes, that's correct.
See below for its origin, band name and logo. This is the part. So the name Blue Oyster Cult came from a 1960s poem written by manager Sandy Perlman.
Yes. So
part of his Imaginus.
Yes, which
Imaginos.
Yes, that was a huge concept that they later on... Well, I mean, we'll get to that. But...
Right on. So, in the Imaginos poetry, later used more extensively on their album Imaginos in '88, Perlman also had come up with the band's earlier name, Soft White Underbelly, from a phrase used by Winston Churchill. And Perlman's poetry, the Blue Oyster Cult, was a group of aliens who had assembled to secretly guide Earth's history. Initially, the band was not happy with the name, but settled for it and went to work preparing to record the first release. So, as with many other bands... can't settle on a name. Someone picks something, and eventually it sticks.
Right. Right.
I know exactly how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, they were able to come up with a shortened moniker. A lot of people, called them BOC instead of Blue Oyster Cult, especially the more hardcore fans. The more, which I constantly refer to them as such. But, a lot of people, I mean, I had a newfound interest when they re-released the back catalog in 2001. And I picked up a couple of copies of the first 3 albums, and they had bonus material and extensive liner notes and artwork. And I really got into it at that time. And I had a resurgence of that. And several times over, I've always gone back to it. And I actually ordered this book that I reference from time to time by Martin Popoff, who's a famous hard rock
metal writer and very good with what he does.
We got Pop Off and Ass Finger.
Moorcock.
Moorcock. What the fuck is going on?
Got all kinds of stuff, man.
It's like one of the biggest bands from the 70s, and they're just surrounded by all this homoerotic horse fuckery.
Yeah, right. Well, incidentally, I think the band had played at an orgy one time in their earliest stages, and
I could not imagine having to do that. I played it. It was somebody's birthday party. I think it was my buddy Andrew. We played at a birthday party. He wanted, like, we got a bunch of people together, like, in a loft. Like, it was like, I don't know, 40 or 50 guys.
Yeah.
Showed up. There's a keg of beer, and we were all, like, hanging around, getting ready to party and everything. And then, like, these two strippers show up and start going down on each other. And it was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Just like Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. And those two hookers show up. And
actually, maybe it was a bachelor party.
She whips out the vibrator, and they both go down. And one's got the whip around her. And like, good scene. And of course, later there's the belly dancer with the donkey and all that crap. But yeah.
I'm sorry, Jesus.
Yeah.
Is that Clerks 2?
The guy Brad or
Clerks 2.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Clerks 2?
Yes, unfortunately, I remember the donkey scene. Yes,
It's not,
a little too far with that.
Well, I mean, that's what they're apparently that's going to be a trilogy. Just so you know,
Can't
there
think
was
of anything else.
and I still haven't seen Yoga Hosers, his other movie.
When's the last time he's done anything recent? Been a while, right?
Okay, so let's go to the Kevin Milf.
Kevin.
The fuck?
Yeah, let's go back to VOC,
It's a
man.
fucking show full of homoeroticism today. All right, so we're not gonna get into the Kevin Smith. The last, like, mostly what Kevin Smith is doing now is he calls is doing a podcast. He does a bunch of podcasts, but he's doing one of the ones he does about, like, comic books and like the comic book movies and all that shit. Oh yeah, big yawn. It's called Fat Man on Batman.
Fat Man on Batman.
And he's like here we're recording live from the Fat Cave.
Oh no,
It's fucking hilarious.
oh my god.
But he posts shit on, like, YouTube and, you know, like, all that shit.
Yeah.
He had the Smodcast, which was what he did with the guy who was his producer. What the fuck was his name? I can't think of it right now. But yeah, all that. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're about mid-70s with the Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
This is what a conversation does, man. It drifts.
Yeah.
It drifts.
I know.
You gotta get in the other things. What was the last thing you asked? I gotta know now. Let's see. Kevin
Last
Smith.
thing that he did.
Not Kevik. What the fuck is Kevik?
I mean, I want to say that he did something after Clerks too. I know he did.
Oh, well, I mean, Yoga Hosers was after that.
Yeah, but was that like a Netflix original?
No, that
or
was
straight to DVD or regular
Well,
theatrical release?
I don't think it was. I don't think it had a wide release.
One of those Cannes Film Festival entries.
Oh, so this was. So Yoga Hosers was 2016. Tusk. Did you ever see Tusk?
No, but I remember that now that you just mentioned it. Yeah,
Yeah. I had no interest in seeing a man turned into a walrus. I know that he's been trying to work on Moose Jaws, which is the movie Jaws, only instead of a shark, there's a moose.
Oh man. Moose Jaws?
Yes, and then he's gonna call it fucking Moose Jaws.
Okay.
I think there's already a fucking thing about it on IMDb too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh god.
But I think those are the last two things he did.
Whatever became of Jay? I always heard Jay had like a huge drug problem and stuff like that, and he's been in rehab, he's been sober, and then he's fallen off the wagon, and then he's relapsed, and he's kind of disappeared, and then he pops up sometimes.
Okay, so according to this, there's something that just came out this year called Madness in the Method, which is something that has to do with Jay. Now, Jay and Kev, they still tour what do they call those tours? I forget what they call it, but Scott Mosier is the guy who's his producer.
Okay.
Right. That just came to me. I saw his face and I was like, Scott. Right. So, and then all the guys, Jeff Anderson, who played, who were the guys in Clerks? Who were the characters in Clerks? Dante and
Brody?
No.
That was probably Mallrats.
Who did he play?
I mean, I got to be honest with you. I mean, I've seen Clerks half a dozen times, but
Clerks is a tremendous movie. But
I couldn't tell you the characters.
Once you understand how that film was made, like it takes on a whole new depth, because like these guys, they went to film school for like, Kevin Smith went to film school for 6 months. Scott Mosier went for a year. They made an agreement, like, because like Kevin went, they're going to some film school in Canada. I can't remember where. I think it was out west. And they made the agreement. Like Kevin was like, "All right, look," he's like, "I've learned what I need to learn. I'm gonna go back and start working on a script." Scott said he was gonna finish school. They were both gonna start working on scripts when Kev left. And they said, whoever finishes their script first, we make that movie. So if Mosier finished his first, then Kevin Smith would have been the producer. And, as it happened, Clerks got finished first. So Mosier flew to Jersey. They came up, Kevin Smith went out and got 6 or 8 or 10 different credit cards and just maxed the fuckers out. Went into New York City and rented an old school camera, bought a bunch of film, started auditioning actors and stuff. Like there are some really fucking good documentaries about this where they sit down with the actors and they sit down with Kev and they talk about all that stuff and go through all of it. It's fucking amazing how that movie got made.
Right.
And if you see how it happened and how it got made, it only makes you love that movie all the more. But I mean, he was like, the first they got into Tribeca Film Festival, I think it was a New York Film Festival.
Yeah.
And it played on a Sunday afternoon. So they're going to, because they're in the festival, they get passes for a bunch of different shows. So they're going to shows all week and they're everything is just packed. And they're like, fuck yeah, man. So many people are going to see this. So their shit showed on a Sunday at 11 a.m., midday Sunday. And he said they were all ready to, whatever. They had everybody together and they walk into the theater and there's 4 people there. Fortunately, one of the people that was there was someone who is, a film buyer with Miramax and gave the hard sell to Harvey, who is now hiding out.
Harvey Weinstein.
Because he jerks off in bushes and does all kinds of other fucking weird stuff. But yeah, if you get a chance, seriously, watch how that movie got made, because it's fucking fantastic. And as much as you would like the movie, you've seen it a few dozen, or I've seen it a few dozen times.
I've seen it half a dozen.
Yeah, you've seen it half a dozen times.
Handful.
You watch that documentary and then you watch the film again, you're like, holy shit. And he was like, I didn't know what the fuck I had done. He's like, I just, put myself into thousands of dollars worth of debt.
Right.
He's like, and I'm sitting there watching it and he's like, and every other word is fuck.
Yeah.
And he's like, he said, I wanted to write a script about how me and my friends spoke.
When did that come out?
That was Clerks.
Was that mid-90s? Early 90s?
Yeah, it was early, 92.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was around the time we graduated. I probably should have gotten into it back then.
94.
Okay.
94 it came out.
All right. It was the year of Amorica.
Yeah, so I think it was Clerks, and then Mallrats in 95, and then Chasing Amy. I don't remember. Chasing Amy was 97. I think it come out in 98, because I know Dogma was after that.
Oh yeah, Dogma was
99.
definitely. Yeah, I would say Dogma was definitely before 2000.
Yes. See, here it has Moose Jaws. It shows like moose antlers like coming out of the water.
Oh, God.
Jesus, this is the fucking. He comes up with the goofiest fucking shit. And like he does all the spoken word stuff. So like, you know, he's got a bunch of different podcasts with a bunch of different people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know all the podcasts that he has going on. But you know, he does the ones about, you know, movies. He does the ones about comic books. He does, you know, he does around. Have you seen any of the spoken word stuff that he's done?
Nah, I haven't heard it.
It's just, it's a fat man on a stage in a trench coat, wiping sweat off himself, answering questions from fucking just geeked out fans.
Okay.
And it's
So
actually
almost like a Trek convention, but
yeah, but it's actually
a Smith convention.
It's really cool to watch,
Right.
Because like if you liked any of those movies at all, if you spend any time watching any of that stuff, and you know, and he talks about all this different shit. You know, he talks about, you know, work because like he had Bruce Willis in one of his movies. He had he's had some, you know, of course, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. They're in everything. What's his name? What played Brody? And then Muse, of
Probably
course.
Jason Lee.
Yeah, Jason Lee.
Yeah.
And then musical. I fucking love Mallrats. Is the pacing is a little slow in that movie. Same as Orgasmo. I love Orgasmo, but the pacing in that is kind of slow. But like, there's a lot of good shit in those movies.
Oh yeah,
they actually came out around the same time, if I'm not mistaken.
They probably did. You know, Orgasmo. I want to say Orgasmo came out in '97, but I could be wrong.
Let me find out real quick.
Yeah, I want to say
97,
98, yeah,
97.
Yeah.
I love, my favorite part of that movie is when you know, he's doing the scene with T-Rex and she comes around the corner and she's like, "Hi, fellas, I'm ready to fuck."
The overweight.
You want me on top? No, I'll be on top.
Yeah. Ugh.
All right. Well, you asked for it, and you got me into the whole Kevin Smith thing, and that's something I used to really
Kevin Smith to
I used to really appreciate the whole Kevin Smith thing, and I've long since fallen off. Did you ever see Red State? I couldn't get through it.
I don't think I did.
I couldn't get through it. Like, Red State was about where I fell out. When he made Clerks 2, I kind of came back into the fold.
Maybe I did.
And then he made Tusk, and he just, you know, he did. What was that? Was that him that did Zack and Mary Make a Porno?
Oh, I have no clue.
I know Seth Rogen was in it. Who directed that? Yeah, Kevin Smith directed that. So that was his. Cop Out. That was the one he did with Bruce Willis.
Oh, okay.
Fucking moose jaws, man. That shit keeps turning up. I'm not into like the slasher pick or anything like that, but goddamn, that's gonna be funny as fuck.
Moose jaws.
Oh, and like Super Troopers 2 is out. We have not gone to see that yet.
Yeah, I know. I was just talking about that with
son of a bitch.
With the wife upstairs.
Right? And she's not.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it 38%.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's even the first one.
And that's only theatrical, probably, people that have watched it, because we know it's not on DVD or anything like that. Oh, however, it's probably illegal to download and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, it is now. It's still in fucking theaters, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, of course.
Where's I'm go over to Fandango here. We'll see if it's playing. You want to go see it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
What do you do?
I don't know. I might have something going on.
I've got so much shit
Tuesday,
to do.
I have to take her down to so I know Tuesday's out.
Martinsville.
But
come on, we discussed this. Solo comes out May 25th. Avengers is already out. I've already seen Avengers. I can't wait for Deadpool to come out.
Well, the reason why they have Solo on the 25th is because of Memorial Day weekend. So they're going to cash in. That's why to make a
They were going to try to cash in.
Yeah, it's a quick cash grab, dude.
With the
oh yeah, but you know damn well a lot of families are going to go see that shit.
Ready Player One, that was good.
Yeah,
I really liked that one. I thought they stayed true to the kind of the feeling of the book, which I tried to get you to read, and you just fucking wouldn't.
I'll probably get into it by next year, dude. That's usually how I am. It takes me forever to get into certain things.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, that's the thing. If you force something on me, I'm going to be like, yeah, okay.
I wasn't trying to force. I just, you know,
no. I don't. I mean,
the story
I don't mean
the story, like
force,
one of the big
you know,
plot points of the book, like it hinges on Rush, and like I was like, I know you love Rush,
yeah.
So like I wanted to get you, and of course they didn't do. There was actually a Temple of Syrinx, and they
Yeah.
Like, he had to go into the temple and do all this shit. Like, it was fucking awesome.
Right.
Oh, spoiler alert, if you didn't read the book, it's
That's
not in the
kinda
movie,
cool.
so fuck you.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's real cool. And I really thought you would appreciate it.
Part of 2112.
Yeah.
And later on, Hemispheres.
Yeah, so, let's see here. Put in the old zip code. See what's playing over at the, don't send me alerts. Just go fuck yourself.
Alert.
10:15 p.m. tomorrow night. Oh, wait, that's tonight. No, Monday.
Yep, we missed it.
No, go fuck yourself. Titty fucking Christ.
I didn't do
They're
it.
still playing Black Panther. Christ, when did that come out?
Black Panther.
Yeah, another one of
Is
the
that about, was that
another
about-
one of the Marvel movies.
Oh,
It was pretty good. I like Black Panther.
I thought that was about the autobiographical story of Huey Long. No, Huey Newton. Sorry, Huey Newton. And How We Survive.
Okay, so Super
Howie
Troopers 2 is already out of the theaters. It looks like. So let's do a little search for that. Well, yeah, I'd love to buy tickets for it if you told me where the fuck I was playing.
Easy there. Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to that.
We understand.
Oh, so apparently tonight at 10:15 was the last time it was gonna play.
For the Pooper Troopers?
Yeah,
That was a quick showing.
2 weeks.
Damn.
2 weeks.
Doesn't take long for that to go straight to DVD. See, it might not have been.
Oh,
worth
no. It is tomorrow. 11:45, 2:20, 4:55, 7:35, and 10:15. If you're not doing anything at some point tomorrow, I get the wife out of the house and blow some stink off of her. And I mean, even if it's just to go and sit and watch a fucking stupid, and yeah, 34% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Although I don't put necessarily 100% faith in every single
Me neither, because the first
rating they do.
The first couple weeks for The Last Jedi, it was way up there, and that movie was pure fucking garbage. Pure fucking garbage.
Right.
Oh God, did Disney really spend $4.5 billion to preach politics at people? Is that a fucking real thing?
No, they really spend that much.
That's what they bought it from Lucas for. Not only that, they gave Lucas $4.5 billion, and I'm sure he got a piece of the back end of everything.
Well, buying the rights, you mean to the name and all?
No, he sold it to them outright. I'm sure he kept a piece of it. I was
just
He'd
saying.
be fucking stupid. Even at $4.5 billion.
No, but I wonder what the budget was just for Jedi, is what I'm saying. I mean, easily a couple
You want
million.
to know what the budget was for The Last Jedi? It's all over the place.
Easily a couple million.
A couple?
And I guarantee...
A couple hundred, probably.
But I guarantee there's no way they made that back. Guarantee they made a loss.
I think they did make it back, but I mean, they didn't profit as much on
By
it as they
margin.
thought. It was in the area, so on the high side, the guess is $216 million. $217 million.
That was the budget, or how much they
was
made?
the budget.
There's no way they made that at the box office. There's no way. No way.
Last Jedi box office, it was over $1 billion. So they definitely made their money back.
I guess that's worldwide.
Yeah, that
Not
is
just in the
worldwide.
States or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna go see. I'm done seeing Star Wars on the day it opens. Like, I thought Force Awakens, I thought was okay. Like, I wasn't big on Force Awakens, but whatever. And
It wasn't terrible.
and we talked about this earlier. And
Right.
And yeah, Rogue One was fucking. I thought Rogue One was good.
Even though it was a prequel to The New Hope.
I thought it was very good.
Excellent.
Yeah, I thought it was very good.
They
The
did a
end of that
really good
movie
job.
was the fucking shit.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that was in there.
It was
That was the
kinda cool.
last good Star Wars anything that came out.
Mhm.
That was it.
Mhm.
And all the shit that happened, with production on Solo. I mean, that movie's fucked before it even hits theaters. How bad do you have to be to fuck up Star Wars?
Is it true that Ron Howard had to rescue that?
Yes.
Because they fired the two
Yes.
guys they had hired originally for it.
Yes.
So Ron Howard had to come in at the last minute.
He came in, so
not that gives it much credibility, because I can't see. I mean, we'll wait and see here. But
the original shooting schedule for that was 8 weeks.
I don't know if that's a good idea for him to be doing that.
It was supposed to be 8 weeks of shooting.
Mm-hmm.
He came in at the end of week 6.
Mm-hmm.
So he came in with 2 weeks left to go in shooting.
Yeah.
Scrapped 80% of what was already shot. And they went over.
And they had to restart.
They reshot damn near everything.
Ugh.
Damn near everything. Yeah. Yeah. It was like that. They reshot damn near everything. So, I mean, I'm hopeful, but I'm not going to go see it. Like, I used to fucking buy up the tickets for this shit and go see it like the day it opened.
Do we know if J.J. Abrams is involved in any capacity?
J.J. Abrams is going to make...
Or...
He's going to make episode 9, which still doesn't have a title.
But he's not affiliated with Han Solo.
No. He had nothing to do with that.
Shape, or form.
Now, the rumor that I heard is, and I don't know if I told this to you or not, rumor that I heard is that this new Solo movie is going to be a prequel to the remakes of the original trilogy.
Oh,
so they're going to do that. They're going to remake the original trilogy with this, what's his name? Aaron Ehrenreich as the Han Solo, and they're going to recast everything, and they're going to reshoot episodes 4, 5, and 6. They're going to reshoot everything. They're going to change all of it.
Big mistake.
Yeah, I mean,
I know life goes on and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, but when you fuck with a classic, but I mean, at the same time, you got to think that all the people that like that are our age, mid 40s and up, like you got to understand that like people who go see shit in the theaters are kids. By and large, you're looking at, people from, the ages of like 4 and 5 and 6 up to the age of like 30.
Yeah.
Now with all this stuff that like Disney was really smart with all the Marvel stuff, and they capitalized on people who have been reading comic books forever. The technology is finally there to pull this shit off, on the big screen, and they're doing it. And they're making a fuck ton of money. And not only that, but it's been a lot of fun. Like, I've seen a bunch of these movies, and it's a fucking great ride. And like, what I'm a sucker for, and like what people who are into comic books are suckers for, is a serial story. Something that happens on parts, and things that cross over and end up in other movies. And like, they're doing all this shit with like, with the scenes that are happening like in the trailers and after the credits, all that shit, like, was just, it started to be, one little couple minute clip at the end of all the credits. And then it started to be, and now it's up to like, they put 2 of them, the sandwich 2 of them in there. And, I mean, the guys who are doing the Marvel shit are so fucking smart, and they are making Disney a fuck ton of money.
Oh, sure.
A fuck ton of money.
They are.
And they're actually doing it really well. They're not. I mean, there's some. They slip some political shit in. I mean, with Black Panther, of course they're gonna slip some political shit in there, and they did it really fucking smart. It was subtle. It was in like Last Jedi. It was just in your face. Men suck. Women are everything. Kathleen Kennedy, you got a woman running shit, and so she's got to rub her vagina and ovaries all over everything. Sorry if you're a lady and you think otherwise. Fuck you. I'm entitled to my opinion. Go get your own fucking show. You want to talk about it? I don't give a fuck what you think. Right. I know how I feel about it, and like all that shit happened in comic books. Like they started talking about. They started doing all the social justice warrior stuff in comic books. Yeah. And comic book sales fucking dropped off because nobody gives a fuck about politics.
Yeah.
Like the reason why people go to the movies, read comic books, do all this shit is to fucking escape from all that. And when you go there and you get that shit rubbed in your face, there's gonna be a backlash. There's just gonna be a backlash. Sure. It's gonna happen.
Sure.
And it did. And I mean, you're seeing it, and there's a bunch of people out there who hated The Last Jedi and don't even fucking understand why. Well, I mean, the story sucked, but I mean, all the political shit too doesn't help.
I mean, like I said, I watched it after the first time. I wanted to give it a second chance, as I did Force Awakens. Rogue One, I didn't really need much of a second chance. The first time I saw it, I knew that it was good.
Yes, the ending of that was so fucking boss. It was so awesome.
Difference, big difference there, because, some people say, well, that it grows on you, blah, 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 blah. You know, okay. I mean, I can appreciate that with, say, maybe Return of the Jedi.
No,
maybe some of the
Big Lebowski grew on me. Like
but,
the first time I saw Lebowski, I didn't like it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. I was just like,
it took me a while.
This movie was stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it took me
and
a
I
while
didn't
to
see
really
it for
get
like
into
2 years after that. And then I watched it again, and I was just like, okay, whatever. And then, like, of course, you know, I got fucking stoned out of my head and watched it with a bunch of guys, probably Damien and all those guys, and I was sitting around and just fucking giggled like assholes.
I remember when
Watching
I had the house on Cornell, man, we actually had Lebowski marathons. We did. There was like a time when I remember sitting with, and you were probably gone by that time.
I was, because I don't remember this.
Our friend Colin, our friend Omar, and a few other
I'm sure Keith was up there.
token friends.
Tophin friends.
Toph and friends, yeah. Toph got in on it too for a little bit.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure
he did. He enjoyed it for a little bit.
If nothing else, just to rag on people who were there.
Yeah. He liked Sam Elliott's character, of course.
Oh yeah, everyone likes the cowboy.
He liked that. But yeah, man. I mean, we got into it. It was like a thing for a little while, you know. It's like, you go to watch Lebowski? Yeah, come on over. Yeah, sit down. Yeah,
dude. I totally get that. I like.
Let's watch it again. You know.
I mean, it wasn't like the time that we ate acid and watched the fucking Godfather, but
oh my god.
I never thought that would be fun, but it was actually, well, it was all because of Damien's commentary.
Yeah.
Like Damien's commentary through that thing was just it was killer.
Now, if it wasn't for Jay gave us the magic key there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But, you know,
we all dropped ass and watched the Godfather. We got up to about the part of the cannolis, and we just started.
Oh my god! Dude,
and then everything was Don Cannoli after that.
It just went into it after that, man. It was like, whoa.
Yeah, we got to a point where we just couldn't do it anymore. And then he put in The Man Who Knew Too Little. And I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in my life as I did that night.
Oh my god, man! The visuals on that thing were just incredible.
We sat and laughed,
and they were probably
laughed at
if
that
you were
movie.
sober, it'd be like, oh, this is the stupidest shit I've ever seen.
And the thing is, I've seen that movie sober, and I was like, why did I think this was funny?
Yeah,
but I mean, we laughed our asses off at that.
That's what acid does.
Well, just any
It
kind of
magnifies everything, and it makes it look like, oh yeah, yeah.
It was just so fucking ridiculous, that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The way to really enjoy a movie is to be able to suspend disbelief. You know, to just say, it's whatever, I'm going with it. And you don't sit there, that's not fucking real. There's no fucking way that would happen. Oh, this is bullshit. Like, you got to turn that off.
Yeah.
In order to watch a movie like that.
Right.
The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Right.
I think I'm still going to buy that at some point.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just, if nothing else, for the memory of that. It's worth that to me. Blockbuster Video, Des Moines, Iowa.
You need to get Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Do you have that? I have it upstairs.
I like that movie.
I have the deluxe version. I have the 2-disc version.
It came with French fries?
Actually, a couple postcards.
Postcards?
Yeah. Got it for a good price, man.
I know the Lebowski one came
of
with
course,
a toe.
I have to watch. Yeah, it came with a toe. Came with a little mouse pad in the rug.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
man.
right.
It ties the computer together. You know?
Fuck right, man.
Oh yeah, gotta love it, man.
How the fuck did we end up way the hell over here from Blue Oyster Cult?
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Well, I mean,
like,
that's
just like BOC. It's a thing, man.
That's what this. We talked so little about music.
That's all right.
I mean, where the fuck are we in this?
Entertainment.
We're an hour into this, and we talked about Blue Oyster Cult for like 10 minutes, if that.
No, we talked about more than that.
Not a lot.
At least 20 minutes.
Not a lot.
At least 20 minutes.
Because, I mean, we started off bitching about our cars.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that.
Where the fuck are we going to drop in on this?
We did that.
Ugh.
That's all right. You can do a little hocus pocus.
I've been doing so much editing for so much shit today. Like, my head is fucking spinning from it.
Yeah, that's why we're having a drink, blowing off some steam.
Yeah. What are we drinking to? Hey, let's drink to entertainment, man. Movies and music.
Entertainment. God damn it. About time for me to crack another brew here.
Yeah, you gonna go up and grab another beer?
A little brew haha.
All right, let's little pause in the action here. We'll be back with a little more Blue Oyster Cult.
Yes.
And
a couple other things.
Jimmy Superfly Snooker on your radio dial.
Yeah, Jimmy Superfly. Way back. Like Chris Berman says.
Let's see.
I want to say he was...
I always wanted to call him Pat Underall.
And I don't... Yeah, right. Lacey Underall's father.
George Allen Pat Summerall was an American football player and television sportscaster, having worked at CBS, Fox, and ESPN. In addition to football, he also announced major golf and tennis events. Doesn't say... Let's go to the wiki.
I want to say he played for the Colts, but I could be wrong.
I'm seeing him with a blue jersey on here. Oh, come on. When you click on it, you're supposed to go, you fucking piece of shit. See, he was an Arkansas Razorback. Played in the NFL from 52 to 61. Drafted by the Detroit Lions.
Okay, the Lions.
Best playing time in his career was with the New York Football Giants as a kicker. After retiring as a player, he joined CBS as a color commentator the next year. Worked with Tom Brookshire and John Madden.
Yep. Right on.
And he actually ended up being one of the better color men I've ever heard call a football game. Had a great voice for it.
Yeah, he did.
Knew when to get in and get out. Did all the all the side reads and stuff that they do in the game. My favorite thing was my dad used to point it out every week. Anytime he would do like what was coming up, he's like, next to 60 minutes, and then we got this is like, and then it's murder. She wrote.
Yeah.
Because there's the comma, there's murder, comma, she wrote.
She wrote.
So that's how he said it. He'd say murder.
She wrote.
She wrote. And he did it every fucking week.
Little a timely pause there, Yeah, man.
Oh, if not for any of the cruisers, I wouldn't know that
you
French
got
word.
funk, you got style, man. Funkin' and you're styling.
What made you fucking think of Pat Summerall?
I don't know. To be honest with you. Hey, you had two commentators talking, Madden. I don't know. Just Madden's like, used to be the coach for the Raiders. He might have played ball before that.
He did.
I think.
Who did? Let's go back.
Well, he might have played.
Go to the videotape.
He might have played for the Raiders, man. I don't know.
I'm not sure that the Raiders were.
Or maybe they weren't a team back then, but
let's see. Coach for the NFL, won a Super Bowl as a head coach for the Raiders. So he was just a coach. I don't think he was ever. I mean, you have to be a player, I guess, at some point.
Yeah, to understand a little bit.
Playing career. Let's see.
Or maybe he just
high
wasn't
school
a good
football
player.
star. Played football at Grays Harbor College in Washington. And College of San Mateo.
So he was a West Coaster.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Earned a BS in education in 1959, an MA in education in 61. Wow, so. Won all conference honors at offensive tackle, catcher on Cal Poly's baseball team. Madden was drafted in the 21st round, 244th overall by the NFL's Philadelphia Eagles in 1958. But a knee injury in training camp a year later ended his playing career before he even got a chance to play professionally.
Wow.
So then he just guess at that point you just go on to learn about everything in the game.
Sure. I mean, if you have enough passion and love for it, why not?
So he coached under Don Coryell, who went on to be the coach for the San Diego Football Chargers. And that's like back in like the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s. That's what they called it. They called it Air Coryell because he just that fucking team went out and just threw the fucking ball all over the place.
Yeah. That was an offensive bent there.
Well, that was that was during a time where like you ran the fucking ball.
Yeah.
You ran the fucking ball almost every down.
Yeah.
And you passed it, to change shit up. Coryell changed that whole he turned that whole fucking shit on its head, man. Went out there, he's just like, all right, if everybody's going to play, because like all defenses were built to stop the run. So like you're talking about a bunch of big, boxy, blocky guys who couldn't run fast.
Exactly.
So he put a bunch of like fucking wiry, fucking skinny motherfuckers out on the end and just ran the piss out of them.
Yep.
And they just outran everybody.
Yep.
And threw over everyone's head. I'm surprised he didn't win a Super Bowl doing that, because that was actually that was smart.
Oh yeah,
that was smart.
That was way smart, man.
And how the fuck, dude? How do we end up talking about all this shit on a music podcast?
Hey, man.
I think don't get me wrong. I think it's awesome.
Just like Steve Sports, man. You know, I mean, he's got his place on ESPN and he does his own thing.
Yeah,
and we love you, Steve.
Who?
Steve
Gorman?
I think we're supposed to say that, but okay.
We're not supposed to say Steve Gorman?
Well, we can't say our friend's last name, so we can say his name.
Well, dude, he's famous already.
Oh, he's a known quantity. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to make people famous who aren't famous.
I don't understand the rules. I'm ignorant to it. Ignorance is bliss, folks. I'm living proof.
Well, it's just, think of it this way. Here in the Mid-Atlantic is a black hole. And we don't talk about it. I mean, we talk about it, but we don't talk about it.
And we might talk about it for another fucking hour.
We might. We fucking might. And we might eventually talk about music, too.
You better fucking A believe it.
Fucking A better believe it, too, buddy.
I tell you, this rock and roll music's damn good to listen to, buddy. Fucking A better believe it.
Fucking A better believe it, too, bud. I mean, seriously, man, you come down.
I see you got the bottle down here.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna refill here.
Watch out, folks. There's gonna be some shit going down here in a second.
You almost made me spit all over the electronics.
You don't need the bullet when you got the ballot.
Tell that to Kennedy. Oh, jeez.
Are you up for the downstroke? See.
You know, speaking of music and Oakland in particular, I really need to get back into, and I've been thinking about this a lot the last couple of days. I really need to get back into the whole Tower of Power thing, man, because those guys are fucking awesome.
Are they West Coasters?
Yeah, man, they're from Oakland.
I thought they were New York based. Or
no,
something.
man, they are from Oakland, California. Well, they used to do what's his name?
Because they've gone through a little bit of changes, but I mean,
his last name's Castillo.
You know, the original.
Doc has always been there, and what's his name? Castillo is his last name.
They've gone through a lot of changes, of course.
But he had this thing that he said every show, and talked about how they played the funk, and he would always say, it was like the last time I heard him, I think he said it was 36 years this year. So those guys have been doing it close to 50 years at that point, because that was back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Well, they've had to do it over 50 years at this point. And they're still doing it. Like, those guys are fucking fantastic, man. I love Tower Power. There's so much good stuff that those guys have done, and they've been, not only that, but they have backed up so many fucking bands.
Yeah.
I mean, they backed up everybody.
One of their earliest, but I want to say one of their earliest gigs that they got recognition could very well have been
Waiting for Columbus.
No, I know that they were part of that, but
they backed up the band on The Last Waltz. Was that not Tower Power? I could be wrong.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that was Tower Power.
Because I know they backed up Fish on the Hoist album.
Yeah, but I'm talking about it could have been a Steely Dan connection.
I'm sure they backed up the Dan too. We'll see.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the very core of the origins of Tower of Power. It might have been on an album review that I've done that I've tucked away or maybe I've put on my site. I don't know which. Dude,
David Garibaldi is their fucking drummer, man. That dude is the fucking shit.
Yeah.
Emilio Castillo. That's his name.
Santana, perhaps. Santana might have actually been instrumental, no pun intended there, in their early recognition and prominence of growing up. I want to say Santana was one of the earliest stepping stones for them. That's what I want to say. Might have been possibly Santana 3, where they first had some sort of exposure. I think it was a bonus track or maybe one of the main album cuts where they're featured. And it might have been one of the earliest credits for them.
Okay, so this is members.
Definitely want to say it might have been Jungle Strut or something like that, or Django, something like that. One of those Latin flavored songs. You know, of course, it's synonymous with Santana's sound. Of course,
dude, there have been so many people in Tower Power. Garibaldi has been their drummer since fucking '68. Yeah, god damn, that dude is good.
Yeah.
I remember I watched something because I'm a drummer, and they used to come in and do 2 shows a night, and they'd be there for 2 nights. Sometimes 3 nights. They'd be there all fucking weekend, man. And just get to sit behind the curtain and watch Garibaldi work for fucking 2 shows, man. Just watch him go out there and drum for 3 hours. God damn, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that was such a fucking cool gig, man. I'm still bummed that place closed. I am still bummed that place is gone.
Yeah.
I got to see and meet so many fucking awesome musicians in such a short amount of time. See, who do these guys back? I mean, these guys backed up everybody. See, so their 50th anniversary concert was?
Shit, Tower Power, they might even done...
that was 2014, so damn. And those guys are still out there doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can kind of equate that with, the Temptations or whatever. They still have one original member, even though they still use the name. Everyone recognizes it. They're going to, they're going to milk that, dude. They're going to make that money.
Let's see. Bands Tower of Power backed.
I mean, Christ, even, just the other day, and I know this is completely polar opposite here, going off the map here or whatever, but Kiss announced that they're going to have their, actual farewell tour next year.
Jesus fucking Christ. Those guys have had fuck those guys.
They've been on a never-ending farewell tour since they reunited in 96, man.
I hope they fucking played at empty houses the entire time. Fuck those dudes.
No, but there's also been multiple talk. But there's been multiple talk that they're going to do like a kind of like a football system where they bring in new players to replace Paul and Gene. And they're going to continue as Kiss. Yep.
Fucking bullshit.
They're going to trademark it to keep it going so that they can still bank off of it. I mean, think about it. Simmons and Stanley are in their 70s now, man.
Oh, wow. So here's the list.
Or at least Gene is.
Oh, that's just their albums. You're still a young man, baby. Ooh, don't waste your time.
I think I'm familiar with that one.
That's a Tower of Power original, man. That's...
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Got to drop it in the slot.
Drop the coin right into the slot. You got to do something that's really hot.
What is hip? I know you know what is hip, right?
Probably.
Oh, Jesus. All right, we have to play some of this.
Hey, man, my head's been in Long Island. Give me a break, dude. Give me a break, bro. I had to go down to the New Orleans Jazz Fest like some other friends of mine I know, like Mr. Brian.
I saw that. I saw that on Facebook the other day.
That's awesome. God bless you, Brian, too. Shout out to you, brother. Hope you had a great time. Because I certainly would have had a
fuck
good time.
These fucking commercials.
What are you on, monsters.com? Uh-oh. You have to edit that one out. Oh, yeah. Have to cannonball it.
Cannonball. It's the Rocco on the bass.
Yeah, we ain't got no time for no finger fucking picking.
Plays like Woody. Plays like Woody, man.
Yeah.
Like, those are the only 2 dudes that, like...
You mean Alan Woody?
But yeah, so, okay, so yeah, that got cut out. But we were listening to What Is Hip by Tower Power. Fucking shit, man. I forgot how fucking awesome Rocco is as a bass player. God damn, that dude is fucking good. Just fucking steady rocking those 16th notes, man.
Yep. Well, people in the know.
That dude, And he's a tiny.
Those that don't,
he was the tiniest little dude.
God bless him. But
he was the tiniest little dude. He would come in and like. He and Garibaldi, I think between the two of them, said about 6 words all night. Like, the whole fucking time they were there. Like, those dudes didn't say shit.
Yeah.
But goddamn, when they fucking sat down behind their shit or strapped it on, man, they fucking blew the doors off the joint every fucking time.
No, they said plenty with what they had to play.
Dude,
you know
those guys are some of, like, just the best musicians I ever, like, Tower Power was one of the greatest shows I ever worked.
Yeah.
Easily one of the greatest shows I ever worked. And I worked some pretty fucking cool shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tower Power, man. Those fucking dudes. If you haven't seen them, go see them. Because they're not going to, they've been around for 50 years already, and they're not going to be around much longer. That just a fantastic fucking band. God damn, such a fucking good band.
Yeah.
Some of the best players. I mean, I don't even know if some of those dudes are even still. I don't know if Doc's still alive. I mean, I don't know.
Oh Christ, man! I mean, you know, you got to take into account when do those guys get together? Late '60s, early '70s, at least.
Yeah, like
at least.
Let's see. So their 50th anniversary was in 2014,
and we're beyond 40. So I mean, you know. Well, we're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
yeah.
I happened. Not only did I see them. I worked the show, so I got paid to see them.
Yeah.
That was fucking dude. One of the greatest shows I ever worked.
Was that when you were in the city or when you were
that's why I was living in New York City working at the Bottom Line.
Okay.
I'll say I was working at the Bottom Line.
Yeah.
I've been like 64. Yeah, 64.
Yeah, I'd kind of argue and say James Brown probably and his band were an inspiration for them, perhaps.
I mean, where did James Brown come from? Wasn't he from like the Midwest, like St. Louis or some shit?
Yeah, I think James was from St. Louis, something like that. Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Got me looking up all this shit. You're supposed to know this shit, damn it.
He was, I mean, he comes from Georgia. I think he was born in Augusta, Georgia, as a matter of fact, which is the favorite, you know, home of the Masters for the fucking white folk.
Oh, shit, right.
Mm-hmm.
That Augusta, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Let's see.
Every time I think of that, I think about that scene in Caddyshack where he wants to find chamois on those fucking leather shoes or whatever. He wants them chop, and he takes them to the fucking sander or whatever and starts faking sparks out of the fucking... He takes the shoe to the sander and makes sparks out of it and shit. Color boy, you motherfucker. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck right.
See how you want these shine, motherfucker. Yeah.
You packing shit, pack this motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm not seeing where he was born. Barnwell, South Carolina, which if I'm not mistaken,
okay, South Carolina. I thought it was Augusta, Georgia.
Pretty close to Augusta, Georgia.
Okay. Because I know Brother George Clinton. I know he was from, I think, Ohio, and he relocated to South Carolina when he was young.
South Kakalaki,
if I'm not mistaken. But which he's actually retiring from the road, by the way. I don't know if you heard about that or not.
I don't know how the fuck he's been on the road all this time.
He's still, but he's officially going to retire now. Yep.
I love the story about talking about when he got his picture, when he took his picture with
Chelsea Clinton. I remember that. I remember you telling me that story. Actually, matter of fact, I think I have it in his book.
Yeah, I think you told me that story.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the crack pipe in his hand. He's holding it as he's smiling for the camera. Yeah. Crack smoking motherfucker. We still like to funk you, George.
Else,
funk me, funk you.
Or the Dangerfield's back to school. Flunk me, flunk him.
Uh-huh.
I woke up. I told you earlier. I woke up with that joke in my head.
Yeah.
My doctor told me that if I eat right, get plenty of exercise, and get a lot of rest, I get very sick and die.
Words of wisdom. Words of wisdom.
But I've always felt that way. Like, I mean, this whole like fucking working out. I don't work out.
There's
Obviously,
a time.
I don't work out.
There's a time and a place, man. I need to get back on my bike, and I know this because I felt that today when I went out to run some errands and I was walking around, I noticed that these jeans are a little tighter than what they normally are.
Oh, Jesus.
I have gained a little bit of weight. Not a lot, but enough for me to be concerned about, because my doctor told me years ago when I went back to start seeing the doctor again, he said, you have to cut down on your smoking. You have to start to exercise again, get on a bike, do some laps or however long it takes. If you want to take an hour on a rail trail and ride for 45 minutes to an hour, whatever it takes, and of course your legs start moving, your body gets regenerated, you're being active. There's no reason not to.
I play golf.
And
I walked the course.
No, I mean, that's good too. I mean, however you can find a regimen to stay active.
Oh, it's not a regimen because
do something.
Although I did play, I played on Friday and I thought
that's the bottom line.
I thought I was going to be sore as fuck on Saturday when I woke up. I was fine.
I mean, I should run.
Run, Jesus, don't run.
Well, I mean,
you see me running, the laxative is working.
Yeah, right. But the wife and I do have a little straight stretch up here, just up the road from our house here, and we try to walk it every morning that we can. It takes about maybe 20 minutes out of our day, but it's something because we're moving, we're being active, and you have to be active.
I like the walk in the golf course. I wish I had more time and more money to be able to play. It is an expensive sport.
Yeah. But
I mean, I love, it's just something about being out and walking around and smacking that fucking little ball around and shit. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun. I don't know why I enjoy the game so much. I'm thinking it's my heritage.
It gives you, no. I see the whole point of golf as my father has been, so infatuated with it over the years and growing up and just seeing what he does and observing it. And I understand it gives you a focus, a sense of purpose, just like Robin Williams kind of jokes a little bit in one of his skits about, the origins of golf, then we give you a flag for hope.
Put a little flag up there for hoop.
Yeah, exactly. So there is a point to all that. Amidst all your, strokes and hits and, getting into the rough and having to make chip shots and, all kinds of crazy stuff that happens.
There's a lot of stuff to that game.
It throws a lot at you and you have to adapt.
Yeah.
And change and go through it. And it is challenging.
It's very challenging.
It is challenging. So I can appreciate that. But on the other hand, I can still sit down with the guitar and try to learn something. And that becomes a challenge in itself because, God damn it, I want to learn that phrase right. I want to be able to play this certain chord progression correctly.
Same thing with the drums. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, same concept, but I'm just using it towards that. Now, granted, I'm sitting on my ass, but I'm using my head, I'm using my fingers, my motor functions, and I'm trying to be active, whereas I'm not moving my legs per se, and my body's not moving. So I can understand all that. At the same time, I always go back to my grandmother's analogy. I never saw the point of taking a ball and a stick and chasing it through a field.
It's
a well manicured field, mind you.
Very well. Well,
but
if when done
all
right,
the same.
When done right, very well manicured.
All the same.
But it's
and that was her take on it, and I could see that too.
I can too, and I'm not gonna lie. I've even been out there and doing it, but
whatever works for that person, that's what works for them.
It's
and you have to accept it. And
it doesn't seem like it would be a lot of fun until you get out there and do it.
Yeah.
And I've always had this thing with whatever I do. I've wanted to be good at whatever I do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the fucking point of doing it?
What's the point of even doing it?
Exactly.
Right. I totally understand that.
So I like the game. I like the concept of the game. Unfortunately, it takes a fuckload of space and half a day.
It does.
To do it good and proper. Mm-hmm. Because the round itself is 4 hours. Mm-hmm. And even if it's right next door, you got an hour before, to warm up, get yourself going. You got another hour afterwards to, wind down and sober up so you can get in the car and go home.
Yeah, see, I'd be more about getting a 6-pack and riding around in the cart and be like,
Which is, there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, there's really nothing wrong with that
light
either.
up a little Mother Nature as you're out during well-manicured Mother Nature and landscapes. And, that looks kind of cool, man. Yeah.
Don't just walk on the grass, smoke it. Which, yeah, I've done that out there too. I'm not going to lie. But there's so many parts to the game. And just the tiniest fraction of being wrong makes huge differences. Huge differences. So, and then there's the slopes and the contours of everything, trying to make a ball roll across something that's not entirely flat and get it to a wee little cup with a little flag for hope.
Exactly. But a nice example, my father has a framed picture of hole number 13 of Augusta. He claims that's his most favorite hole that's been ever...
Which one's 13?
Manicured in, like any golf course. That's the one that he...
That's the one with the bridges, the par 3,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
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 Beautiful hole. Beautiful hole.
Yeah.
I would love to get tickets for the Masters, even just for a day. Just to go for a day, just to see that place.
He's done that.
Would be amazing.
He's done that. I mean, amazing. I think he had a guest invite. I'm pretty sure that was how it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to know or blow somebody to get into that place.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot to put in for tickets this year.
I, on the other hand, have no desire whatsoever in ever setting on the grounds of that place.
Because they do a ticket lottery for that.
Well, it's not only that, but just the whole idea of the way that it was probably constructed and built all those years ago, and who did it exactly.
Let's see.
But that's personal reasons. It has nothing to do with the actual, legend of the history of the course and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it does tie in with the history of it, of course, but it's the other side.
If I had the money and the wherewithal to do it, I would find the location where I could recreate that golf course so that regular fuckers could play on it. Because everyone I have known who's ever played golf.
Well, there's probably an interactive version of that.
Yes,
sure.
there is. There's a video game, but there's nothing like standing on that course. And like what you don't really see on television is there's a lot of up and down to that course. I mean, there's a lot of up and down, like up and down hills and shit. Like you don't see that. You don't really get that. Excuse me, from watching it on television.
I mean, there's got to be other ones in Scotland, for God's sakes, the motherland.
Well, it's specifically about that course. I don't care who you are as a golfer. You pretty much know that's the best course in the world. That course is, you're only allowed to play on it for 4 months out of the year.
Is that what it is?
It's 2 months in the spring, 2 months in the fall. You don't play on that course in the summer or in the winter. You don't play it. It doesn't get played on. That club is only open for like 5 months a year. And out of those 5 months, I think there's only like 3.5 that you actually get to be on the course.
Could you imagine the chemical emissions that spew from those grasses and the grounds and everything?
Oh, you mean the chemicals
they treat it with? Yes.
Oh, yeah, those chemicals they spray on it.
Can you imagine how toxic that shit is?
I talked to a guy.
Seriously?
I talked to a guy out here at the local golf course who actually went down there once in, I think he said it was like in 88 or 89. Went down with his wife. I was fortunate enough to get a couple of tickets and went down for the weekend with his wife. Was out there and he worked on the golf course. So he was talking to one of the maintenance guys who works on the course. Mm-hmm. And the guy was like, if you find a dandelion anywhere on this course, we'll give you $50,000 or something like that. Something crazy like that. And he's like, I've never seen anything like it. He's like, that whole place is just perfect. It's like, I've worked on carpet that wasn't that fucking nice. I just want to see it. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we've talked about you probably only listened to Blue Oyster Cult this week? Have you listened to anything else? Because I know the wife is fucking sick of it.
Oh, no. I mean, I've listened to some other things. I've snuck a few things in there.
Like a finger in her crack?
Not quite.
What else you got there?
A little bit of Thin Lizzy, but, you know, I was probably talking about them last time, too.
A little bit. I think you were just getting into them last we spoke.
It was rather back into them.
I mean, we're doing this pretty regular every other week. I might not get them up that quick, but
yeah,
I've had some other fucking issues in my life here of late, and I've been trying to get on a regular schedule, and life is just fighting me, just fucking fighting me.
It's not having any of it. It's not here. Got to do this shit. Fuck you. You want to try this? Yeah. No, you're not going to do this. We're going to make you do this instead, asshole.
Yeah, I'm getting life is giving me an awful lot of fuck you of late.
Well, you're still standing better than you ever did.
It's not been the year of the fill. That's for goddamn sure.
It's only going to get better.
Well, I can't get much worse.
It's getting better. Yeah.
It's getting wetter all the time.
Getting so much better.
It used to be because of my drool. Or because of my piss or my stool. Holding me down. It's yellow and brown.
But I'm doing the best that I can.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, the old Cosby, he's going to be thrown in the slammer just like Mike Hammer.
Oh, geez. Yeah, right? So that happens while we were between conversations, didn't it?
People were speculating on the fact as he was coming out of the courthouse when he was actually given the sentencing outside of Philadelphia in some sort of a suburb outside of Philly. Can't remember which town it was. But they were noticing that he wasn't walking with a cane as pronounced as he once was, and he was actually making, brisker strides towards the automobile as opposed to having a handler guide him towards the vehicle. So, but because supposedly he's gone blind.
He's playing it up a little for the jury. Yeah.
And he knows how it should be.
I get that.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go with the fucking. Yeah. I look up and there it is, right there. The guest tattoo is right there.
Yes. Mr. Simmons.
Genus.
He's 93. She's 16. And I think I'm going blind. Yeah.
I wish he just. I wish the earth was flat so he could find an edge and step off of it. He's done his bit.
Gene?
Yeah. He's done his bit. He just needs to fade away gracefully.
He's going to be president of the United States. Haven't you heard?
Well, I'm all for a Jewish president. All for it.
Yeah.
We've had every other kind of a whitish douche.
With a big fat nose that know where it goes.
Yeah, the old Jewish princess. He's not quite a princess, though.
Yeah, he is Kiam Witz.
Keim.
Kiam, as the Germans say.
Or they should pronounce it shame. They should pronounce it shame.
Kiam Witz. Kiam.
Yeah, it's
Assalamu alaikum.
Tinge off there.
Sorry, folks, I shifted over.
Oh, dude. That's so bad.
I'm taking the piss out of everything, dude. I don't care.
Oh.
And it started to melt down through the 4 pair of my corduroys.
Taking it back to the cause. I like it.
Yeah. Gotta bring back some continuity here.
Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot of continuity in this conversation today, but I still think this is probably the best conversation we've had. This is the most.
This is gold. It's gold right here.
It's fucking gold, bro.
You want to put it in Bitcoin? Put it in fucking Bitcoin. Fucking gold. Gold. I'm going to say it again. Gold. Hear that whisper? Gold. Gold. Gold out of the night air. Gold.
Jeez.
It's fucking gold.
Well, I like, see, now this is...
And I'm getting drunk.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, we've been...
Playing the flute.
Meat flute.
Pale ale flute.
Right. So I guess Bob has listened to some Boister Cult and some Thin Lizzy, and we talked about other shit, so fuck you.
We talked about all kinds of things. We're breaking the boundaries.
We're breaking the mold.
The spectrum is wide open.
Doing it.
And we're going to bring in some Jack Daniels sauce next week. So you best be on your best behavior.
Right? When's the last time you saw any of that shit?
It's been a long time, but we're going to recreate that. We're going to bring it for you. We're going to have visuals next week.
We are?
Or maybe next month. Whenever it comes.
Right after we retire and right before we die. There's going to be about a choice
Something like
7 to 9 weeks in there.
Something like that, Daniel-san.
Where we really get... Dude, so do you know about the Cobra Kai? Did you hear about the Cobra Kai? Dude.
The fuck is that?
So, I don't know too much about it because I don't give too many fucks about YouTube and how all that works. But they brought back the guy that played Johnny and Ralph. They brought back Ralph Macchio.
Kid?
Yeah, and it's called Cobra Kai, and it's like a little mini series that's on. It's called YouTube Red, which is a pay service, and it's an original thing, and they're bringing it back,
kind of like Netflix.
So basically, what happens is like from the time of the original Karate Kid, when Johnny got kicked in the face,
right,
and lost that match or whatever, his whole life has gone downhill. Now, what's his name? Danny.
Well, he showed up in Hot Tub Time Machine. He showed up in Hot Tub
He was the guy with the mustache and the gun.
Anthony Zerbe.
Start sucking, Gaylord.
Right. Anthony Zerbe or something like that is his real name. That's his acting
I love
name.
that dude. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's got great comedic timing. But in this, I'll show you the trailers whenever we're done.
Right.
But basically, like, his life's falling apart. Daniel owns, like, some kind of car dealership, and like he's on TV wearing suits, and like
Macchio's in this.
Yes,
really,
dude. They got the entire. Well, I don't know about the entire. I mean, obviously,
did Scott Baio direct and produce this or some shit?
Pat Morita's not in it.
Well, he's dead and gone.
Yeah,
God rest you.
They might have a picture of him in there. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, to Pat.
To
Pat. I love drinking to a Japanese man.
Pat and Arnold. That was his character, I think. Was it not in Happy Days?
I don't think he was the Arnold. I thought that was...
No, because what's his name was Frank or Al or something like that. Al. Yeah, but I thought his name was Arnold.
Or maybe it was Arnold's.
No, but I'm saying I think he was Arnold. Pat Morita played Arnold, I think.
Fuck if I don't know. That
was more of my brother's generation.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, that was more of my brother's generation, but I remember watching that, and I remember watching Kiss Meets the Phantom, I think, right after Happy Days, when it aired in 1978. I do remember that.
I do not.
I was 4 years old.
See now,
I was three, but now I'm 4 years old.
My goal is
back to Cosby.
Nice. Very nice. Bringing it back around. So, no, my golden age of television was A-Team, The Incredible Hulk, Greatest American Hero.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home.
Yeah, little George Costanza there. Yeah, Seinfeld. Yeah,
right.
God.
Right. So, but like that was my, you know, you had Knight Rider, You know, you had Silver Spoons.
Mm-hmm.
You had, what else? Buck Rogers. Remember Buck Rogers?
Family Ties.
Family Ties. Different Strokes.
Yeah.
That's where I take my name from, Phil Drummond.
But I used to watch old episodes of Three's Company and Alice in the meantime.
Yeah, there was all that stuff.
Again,
that was the beginning of the golden age of the rerun.
Late 70s, early 80s.
Early 80s.
Shit,
yeah, that's when
All in the Family, Jefferson's, Good Times, all that stuff.
Barney Miller.
Another one.
What was the guy with Horseshack in it?
Taxi,
yes.
Yeah.
Taxi, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, there was so much of that stuff.
Yep.
So much of that stuff that we...
Horseshack was Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah, Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah.
Right. So the guy... who's the guy that wrote that song? Welcome Back.
John Sebastian. From Love and Spoonful.
So...
Yeah. That was his second wind.
I don't know if I know I've told this to you before. I'm not sure if I said it on the big show. But
really big
when they did the 9/11 show at the Bottom Line, they did a benefit to raise money for all the people that were working on the rubble pile down there.
Yeah.
He came in and he played about a 20-30 minute set, and he went out and he played that song.
Yeah.
And he said he hadn't played that song in more than 20 years.
Yeah.
He didn't. It was like everybody asked him for it. Like he just didn't want to play it anymore.
Well, sure.
And he went out and he played that song. And dude, the hair standing up on my arms just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It was a moment.
Yep.
It was a fucking moment.
Yep.
And like that's what you live for. Shit like that. And that was awesome. That was the real, like, I know people say, oh yeah, that's awesome. Awesome is a word that is overused quite a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was literally awesome.
Yeah.
The whole house singing, clapping. It was just him and an acoustic guitar.
Oh yeah, man.
And just fucking knocked it out of the park.
That's, I mean, that, that
very fucking cool.
That just reiterates the power of music, between simplicity and just absolute.
So what was your, let me ask you this, because this is, I remember what it was for me. But what was your first lesson in what the power of music was? Like, what was the first time you're like, oh shit, there's some power to music. I remember, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget mine.
I mean, been so many. I would say, to be honest with you, probably
the very first one.
As far back as I can remember, riding with my parents, probably back from a restaurant someplace when I was a very young kid, hearing on the radio was on, and Paul McCartney's live version with Wings, Maybe I'm Amazed, and Jimmy McCulloch playing that phenomenal guitar solo. That is what really gripped me. As soon as as far back as I can remember, that guitar solo from that live album that was used as a single easily is probably my earliest memory of music gripping me.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like the power of music laid bare. And for me, I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was the day that John Lennon got shot. The day that John Lennon got shot, I'd seen both my parents upset about this or that or whatever.
Yeah, see, my parents were indifferent to that.
Yeah, well, your folks weren't. When it came to music,
I would have loved to have been. I mean, well, not to have loved to have been, but I wish I could have witnessed your parents' emotions. That when
was
John was killed.
It wasn't just.
I wish that I could have witnessed that.
It wasn't just like it was my parents that set it off for me. It wasn't just my folks because it was everybody.
No,
it was everybody that day. It was my parents that tipped me off. That was like kind of that was the thing that's like, hey, wake up, this is happening.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't understand, music, you sing and you play and whatever. I didn't understand the power of music until John Lennon got shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of my earliest memories.
No, you're probably right about that. I mean, because I definitely remember seeing on the news people holding candlelight vigils and this, that, and the other, and this, and
I was too young.
His face was on the TV, and I was
6.
What's going on with this guy? Why is he?
Yeah, I was 6, but I mean, you want to talk about just a really good like visualization, like an actual real world thing about, because I mean, John Lennon wasn't just a musician, you know, that was kind of what he used, you know, it was his vehicle to get out in front of
He was
everyone.
a lot more than that, man.
I mean, the dude got followed by the FBI, the CIA. I mean, you name it, all the alphabet agencies had fucking
Very
files on John.
outspoken. He didn't care.
No, and that's pretty much why he got shot.
He challenged the system.
His son Sean says as much.
I mean, you know, some of that carelessness does catch up with you, I guess. He was a little too open, perhaps. You know, that kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, there was there's
because
some...
Mark David Chapman actually approached him earlier in the day and got an autograph from
right.
the album cover, and then he returned later on, and he was stalking him. He knew he was calculating his time frame. Knew when he was leaving the studio, when he was coming back to his apartment, his place of residence.
Well,
and
it wasn't so. I don't think Mark David Chapman was with it enough to have done that. I think he was given the tools and put in the place to do what he did. I don't.
Boy, you think the FBI hired him?
Oh, I
CIA
definitely think
did?
that was a government setup. Absolutely.
Really?
Because think about it this way. You're talking about a government that basically runs a for-profit war business. And you got a guy out there preaching peace and people fucking getting down with it. You know, I mean, he was very much affecting their bottom line, or at least in a very real way threatening it. Think about it this way. So you don't think that it's, when did he move to New York City? It was like 76, 77? Somewhere in that area?
He finally got accepted, I think, around 75.
Yeah, so...
Because they were giving him a lot of shit about his green card before that.
And they weren't going to renew it either.
He tried to move and...
Yeah. Yeah, that whole thing. So you see this guy basically get followed around by every governmental agency in the country. And as soon as he starts to get any kind of a real foothold to really disrupt their business, he just goes the fuck away. There's some really good documentaries. There's some really good documentaries on YouTube that you need to see.
I mean, I don't doubt that they didn't monitor him and that sort of thing and all that, but
don't buy the cover for the fucking cover story now, Bob. Don't buy the cover story.
I just don't know about the whole...
There's plenty of stuff. I'll put you onto some of it because I used to think the same way you do.
I mean, there's no John Lennon Day like Martin Luther King.
Not yet.
No, there's not going to be.
Probably not.
There's not going to be.
Probably not, because
they're going to look upon him as just another British, you know.
They want him to go the fuck away. They don't want. There's no money in peace. There's no money in peace. Not at all. None. You know what's in peace? Happiness and love. They don't want that. There's no money in that.
Yeah, but he was an entertainer, man. It wasn't like he was a politician.
He wasn't a politician, but
I know he had some political views on
some.
Sometime in New York City was one album that was actually blatantly political, but he kind of shut up after a certain point. I mean, once 75, 76 came around, he was out of the public eye, man. He had reconciled with Yoko, he had conceived Sean, and he wanted to become a devoted father, and that's what he did. He stayed out of the public eye blatantly for 5 years. And he stayed out.
And as soon as he came back...
I think it's coincidence, man.
Back.
I think it was a crazy fan. I'm sorry, dude. I don't buy into that CIA bullshit. I'm sorry. I have to blatantly disagree.
There's a lot of it. Well, before you come down and make up your mind and close the book on it, just be open to some of the information that I'll share with you about it later. And if I think about it, I'll put it in the description of the video.
Yeah. But
it's definitely worth a look. Because I mean.
That goes as far as Hendrix being murdered by the CIA and Joplin being murdered by the CIA and Morrison being murdered by the...
Well, those
people didn't
There's conspiracy
We're
theory
not
that goes
aware of
along
what
with
they
all
were
those
doing.
fuckers from out west too.
They
like the Mamas
mixed-
and the Papas and Frank Zappa and all the people from that valley.
Yeah.
They all live within like a mile or two of one another.
Yeah, but just like Jorma McCloskinen used to say, he from Jefferson Airplane, he always thought that the airplane were part of a CIA experiment because his father was involved in a little bit of the DC interactions and that kind of stuff before he went out west to join the airplane.
Truth is stranger than fiction, bro. And I don't doubt for a second, because I mean that was when you had the CIA actually testing LSD on people to try to do the whole mind control thing.
You mean the military?
Yes. Yes.
Well, the military, yes.
The military, the CIA.
I can believe that.
There are many different branches of the
I can
government
believe that, but I don't
running
know
their own
about...
experiments. The Navy did it. The CIA did it. The Army intelligence did it. Navy intelligence.
I mean, I don't know where the Grateful Dead and the airplane got their access. I mean, besides Owsley Stanley, I don't know where they got their access to LSD before it was even considered illegal, because when they had shows, they throw it out to the audience.
It was,
and it wasn't even considered.
I heard a story that they
know.
actually stole it from the place where they were doing the studies.
Well, I thought Owsley actually was the one that was responsible for the concoction.
Well, he was a chemist and understood how to make it and did.
Per Albert Hoffman from over in Holland, because he was originally trying to concoct a medicine that was supposed to cure schizophrenia. Well, lo and behold, it caused it, but actually accelerated those tendencies for people that had it in them already. But yeah.
Yeah. And
I mean, there's all kinds of different...
And I've eaten my fair share of it.
I don't think we'll ever know the truth about anything, to be honest with you.
Well, the thing is, you can't keep something hidden forever. You just can't do it. You can't do it.
It can be rewritten.
Well, of course. I mean,
that's the problem.
History is written by the winners, not the losers.
That's the problem, because there's so many people now that accept certain mind schools of thought about this is the way it is. And,
Well, all I know is my ass hurts. I've been sitting on it too long.
And I got to fucking piss, folks. So, God damn it. And grab another beer.
Yeah.
And smoke some pot.
And we're going to...
And yes, I said smoking pot because that's what I fucking do.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
I'm your Abby Hoffman this evening.
We'll end the show right here. Well, we didn't talk a whole hell of a lot about music, but I mean, it was a good conversation.
That's okay.
And that's what this is all about.
It doesn't have to be always music. I mean, music branches out into other areas.
Well, music is a part of life, and today we talked an awful lot about life. A lot of movie talk. But here.
A lot of movie talk, a lot of shit talk, but that's okay.
So
and a lot of intelligent talk as well.
Cheers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cheers to here's to you, Bill Cosby. You're gonna die in prison, you fuck.
Yeah, here's to good old Bill. My brother Bill.
I tell you, you're funny on stage, but backstage, boy, were you an asshole. Fuck you.
Yeah. Well.
Well, yeah, so that's
Llewellyn.
That's all right. So that's all we got for us for this day, this week, this night.
I am Sonic Bob.
Yeah, and I am.
And he is
Phil Drummond.
Phil Drummond.
And thanks for listening, everybody. Talk to you next time.